Hello everybody, and welcome to the next episode in my preview series where I take a look at all the games coming up in the next game day of the North American LCS and attempt to pick who I think will win and break down how I think the game will go. Last week, on Sunday, I went 4-1, correctly predicting every game but the last, so today I'm attempting to go for the full 5-0. I think I got a pretty good shot. I feel pretty confident about these games. So what are the games, you may ask yourself? Well, we have Echo Fox versus TSM, Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians, Hundredbees versus Team Liquid, FlyQuest versus Counterlogic Gaming, and Clutch Gaming versus Optic Gaming. So getting into the predictions here, we have first half Echo Fox versus TSM. Both teams are 1-1, and it's actually the only game today where both teams coming in have the same record. I think top lane will be a key focus for TSM, as last week Broken Blade showed an exceptional performance versus two of the better top laners in the league, and this week with him playing a slightly weaker top laner in solo, I think it's a real big opportunity for him to show himself and really take over the game. So we'll see whether he's able to do that, or maybe whether he slides back to normality a bit more, but either way I think it's going to be an advantage for TSM. We'll just see how much so. I think Echo Fox may get an advantage early game, as both teams have kind of had some on and off early games. However, I think regardless of how the early game goes, TSM will take it late, as they just have better coordination, and they have sort of shown a stronger performance versus better teams so far this season. So my prediction for this game is TSM, and I think they're going to take it pretty confidently. Moving into Game 2, we have Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians. Now, heading into this game, Cloud9 is 1-1, while Golden Guardians is 0-2. And I think we should look to the top lane to be a key matchup early game, as both Licorice and Hauntzer have actually had some decent performances so far, at least in the early game. So I think that whoever is able to win that will give their team a pretty decent advantage heading into mid-game. However, I think regardless of how that goes, despite that the early game might be fairly even, I think Cloud9 has looked way cleaner so far. They've had way better mid to late games. I don't think there's any way this game goes to Golden Guardians, barring a major either blow up from Cloud9 or improvement from Golden Guardians, as they just haven't looked that great outside the first 15, while Cloud9 has looked fairly good outside the first 15. So my prediction to take this game is Cloud9, and I feel probably the most confident about that prediction. Moving into the third game, we have Hundredbees versus Team Liquid. Hundredbees is 0-2, while Team Liquid is 2-0, so that's a pretty big discrepancy. Not that really matters. I actually have this as my game of the day because I think both teams are expected to be top teams coming into the split, and so seeing how this game pans out I think will play a big role in the LCS moving forward. Team Liquid has looked much better so far, both early and late game than Hundredbees. I mean, that's going to be a result of winning both your games versus them losing both their games. I think Hundredbees has had some decent early game performances, but Team Liquid has looked slightly better, and then they haven't had the greatest late game performances, while Team Liquid's late game performances have been fairly clean. I think bot lane will be the focus of the game with Bang versus Doublelift, and so to go a bit more in depth, so far in the two games, Bang is plus 5 CS up over his lane opponent with 0 pre-15 minute ganks, while Doublelift is plus 28 CS up on his lane opponent so far this season, also with 0 pre-15 minute ganks. So they both haven't actually been the focus of the ganks so far this season, but Doublelift has shown a much better ability to get ahead of his lane opponent. Anyways, with all that being said, I predict Team Liquid to take this game. Moving on to game number 4. Now this is the game I think I'm probably going to get the most flack for. FlyQuest is 2-0, while CLG is 0-2. However, most people can read the screen and see that I am predicting CLG to win this game, so I'll get into why. I think the impact of mid-jungle and their roams towards bot lane will be a big focus of this game, how they're able to get leads, control the middle of the map, and then convert those advantages to advantages bot lane. I think that's been a big focus of FlyQuest so far. I think that's something CLG definitely needs to work on, and so I think whatever team can do that is going to give themselves a big advantage heading into the mid to late game. I think FlyQuest has looked better mid to late game. They've been the more clean team. However, both games they've actually gotten behind by a decent amount in the first 10 to 15 minutes that they've played so far, and then ended up climbing their way back. And CLG has not looked very good so far. However, I think that they showed a better performance against Team Liquid, and I think if they can improve any area of their game, it will be their early game. And so as a result, I think CLG can actually snowball off of the early game to sort of counteract a lot of FlyQuest advantages or mitigate them in the mid to late game. And so I actually think CLG is going to take this, even though FlyQuest might be the better team. I think there's always a few upsets, and I think this is going to be one of them. Moving into the final game of the day, we have Clutch Gaming versus Optic Gaming. Now, Clutch Gaming is 2-0, while Optic Gaming is 1-1. I think that mid lane should be an excellent test for DeMonte. He showed up pretty big in both games last week. However, now he's up against Crown, who also had some decent performances both games last week. So seeing how the mid lane shakes down, I think will be a pretty important focus of the game. I think that both teams have been pretty good early game. They've managed to get advantages, or at least maintain being even. I mean, Huni did fall behind versus Broken Blade against TSM. However, they were doing pretty well mid to bot, and Optic didn't get the biggest advantage in either of their games, but they were able to squeak a few smaller advantages versus both CLG and FlyQuest. But I think that Clutch Gaming has been the much cleaner late game team. Optic, post 15 minutes, and their win against CLG looked pretty good, honestly, but there were definitely a few errors. And versus FlyQuest, they kind of blew a lead a bit. They didn't look quite as coordinated. I think Clutch Gaming has been quite good in both their late games. They've been able to close out the games and really take the advantages that they got in the early game and make the most of them. And so for me, I see Clutch Gaming taking this game. I think it might look a bit closer than most people are expecting it to be, but I do think Clutch Gaming is going to take this game. So to recap, I think the game of the day will be Hundredbees versus Team Liquid. I predict TSM will beat Echo Fox. I predict Cloud9 will beat Golden Guardians in the least close game of the day. Just that, I mean, I'm the most confident in that prediction. Not that I think the game will be the shortest, necessarily. I think Team Liquid will beat Hundredbees. I think CLG will beat FlyQuest, and in the closest game of the day, so that's the prediction I'm the least confident. I don't know if it'll be the longest game. I think if it is the longest game of the day, FlyQuest probably wins it. And I think the Clutch Gaming will beat Optic Gaming. Those are my predictions for today. See ya for tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.